Bron is out here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I am joined by Jax. Jax, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, bro. I'm ready to hear. We had you on talking about the best cards of the game. We had you on, that was a couple weeks ago. We had you on talking about broken podcasts, talking about like balance changes and stuff. But now it's time for a change of pace a little bit here. Jax is here to give us the 10 worst cards in the game, maybe a suggestion or two on what can be done to improve these cards as well.
Card number 10 is the newly nerfed Night Witch. I think this card is definitely taken a drop from one of the best to one of the worst with the death bets change. I don't put her down much lower because even though she got nerfed, she still has pretty quick spawn, while she's alive. But that death spawn really just killed her, and she has like very, very, very niche spots in decks now.
Yeah, I talked about it, I think, in yesterday's video or the video before, but like we dealt with the Night Witch, and then when you killed her, it's just like, yeah, that was anticlimactic. Like nothing happened. It's so used to seeing those bats come out. Do you think they just need to revert that nerf, basically, or?
Nope, I do not think
you're happy with it? Okay, so you're happy with her being one of the 10 worst cards in the game?
Yep, I think maybe you could slightly change her, but she's just such a toxic card with a death spawn. It's just absolutely insane how much value it got.
Okay. Well, this isn't a conversation for maybe another broken podcast, because I guess the question begs itself, should there be legendary cards that are the 10 worst cards in the game anyway? Is that inherently, like, is that cool with the game designers, you know? But either way, let's take a quick break for today, a word from today's sponsor of the video, and we'll be right back for card number 9. But first, today's video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Guys, I want to draw your attention to the champion on the far right of your screen. That is Ninja. That's right, a champion in-game who's 100% free to all of you who download, but only for now less than a month, guys. October 15th is the last day that you can get your hands on Ninja, and let me tell you with full sincerity here, he is one of the best champions inside the entire game, so definitely download now and get your hands on Ninja. Now, Ninja is a bit special, not just because he's Ninja, and not just because he wields both a katana and a bow and arrow. His origins are very unique. He was born a noble Bannerlord warrior. His life was spared as Shadowkin raiders laid waste to his family's manor. An infant Ninja grew up and became the Shadowkin's greatest secret weapon, constantly adding new things to the game. Not just this boss in Doom Tower, but 2 brand new other bosses added to Doom Tower. Bommel the Dreadhorn, who is the most difficult boss all in all inside the entire game. Bommel Dreadhorn is incredibly tough. And Astronax the Dark Fae, who looks incredible as well. So Astronax and Bommel the Dreadhorn both added this month inside game. Now that's not all, guys. We have a brand new feature that was just added to the game today at this time of this recording called Super Raids. This allows you to farm double as fast in specific dungeons. Basically, we can get extra rewards in one raid. Now, you guys have been watching the channel for a while. You know that I'm not just a YouTuber here trying to say the game is amazing and then I don't play the game. I play the game. I play the game so much, as a matter of fact, that I actually have a second YouTube channel, Raid Shadow Legends, where I just hit 100,000 subscribers. Guys, thank you for all of you guys who checked me out on that channel. Guys, if you download Raid Shadow Legends today, I have a bevy, that's right, a bevy of rewards for you guys. We have a free epic hero, Chinaru, who's amazing for Doom Tower. She's a brand new Shadowkin faction champion. We'll also have an XP boost, 200k silver. We'll have an energy refill and an ancient shard, so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get inside the game. Thank you so much, Raid Shadow Legends, for sponsoring today's video. What are you waiting for, guys? Download. The link is in the description below, or you can use this QR code right here on the screen. All right, we are back, guys. Jax, what is card number 9?
I think that the cannon, once it got its buff to match its damage with the cannon card, I think it became a little bit better, and you could actually use it somewhat a little bit. It's mainly just seen still 2.6, but at least the card will get some value. It does shoot very, very quickly and is pretty easily protectable, as well as bringing quite a bit of HP for a 3 elixir card. However, it just is really nothing compared to the building, especially like Tesla, Bomb Tower. Those cards have just been in rotation for the past year, and the cannon's just been completely outshone with no death effect and no overwhelming damage and no air targeting. It's just not the best card in the game right now.
No, no one really goes with cannon outside, you know, like you said, 2.6. And it's kind of always been that way. Has it ever been meta in a different deck? I don't think so, unless I'm forgetting something.
Not in the past couple of years. I'm pretty sure it used to be very good back in the day, but that was like before I was even playing really.
Dude,
so.
back in my day, I don't remember it being very good, but maybe I'm just old and I have a bad memory, but I don't remember it ever being like super meta. But I did just max the star points because it's like one of the last cards that I haven't done yet. So there's that. There's that, Jax.
It looks
I guess
really cool.
Yeah, does it? I haven't like played it yet. Maybe I'll play
it's like solid gold. I love it.
All right, let me do this right now. Then I'll play a trainer. I forgot how to even play a trainer, dude. I never played the trainers. Where is that screen?
I went to go and test the Mother Witch, and I just couldn't find it. I was like, where the heck is it?
Okay, I don't even have it in my deck now. That's fantastic. What is card number 8, Jax?
For card number 8, I have the giant skeleton. The big boy got nerfed to the absolute ground a long time. Not that long ago, a couple months ago, he got nerfed to the ground because of that royal giant skeleton deck that was going all around. He was just a really annoying card, and the community was definitely looking for his nerf because he just plop him in a lane, and all of a sudden you get a 2,000, 3,000 HP troop as well as a full rocket on defense. So, I think that he just, once that bomb damage got cut to absolute smithereens, that he just wasn't very good. And even with his secondary buff, like he got 50% of the damage back, he still just doesn't even do much damage. He doesn't kill Magic Archer, and Magic Archer is like the squishiest card in the game, it seems. So yeah, I think he's just a little bit too weak right now with his Death Bomb not doing anything.
I agree with you, although I'm never excited about going against him, no matter what. You know,
neither am I.
You know, like I doesn't put the fear of God in me like maybe Sparky does sometimes, and she's not that great either. But when I see Giant Skeleton, I'm like, oh god, it's gonna be one of those matches, Giant Skeleton. So, do you think he needs a buff? I think we talked about this on a Broken podcast, but do you think it'd be cool to have like a little bomber or something? Like maybe add a little bit of add an elixir to him and put a bomber in his knapsack or something?
I'm not sure, because I know a lot of people that like the Giant Skeleton and other cards like this don't like to hear it, but some cards just aren't meant to be strong. Like, you know, there's just some cards that when they're strong, they're just so prevalent and dominating, and they force you to play around them, and like the game has to change around those cards. It's just kind of annoying. I don't think I would like to see him much stronger. As long as he's not able to just destroy a whole push in one lane, I'd be fine with some sort of buff. So maybe like a bomber on his back. I just can't get behind like buffing his Death Bomb again, so that where he can just plop him in a lane and the opponent's entire push is gone.
Kills absolutely everything. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, and I agree with you on some cards. They're just better not to have them super strong inside the meta.
For number 7, I have the Barbarian Hut. It's just a really risky investment for 7 elixir. So some buildings like Cannon, if you misplace them by a tile, you can maybe fix your mistake with like an Ice Spirit or something to continue to kite. If you screw that up with a Barb Hut, that's now 7 elixir gone. And the Barbs really just don't apply much offensive pressure. They're not like Spear Goblins where it's one Spear Goblin, so you're automatically getting an elixir or an inefficient elixir trade, to kill the Spear Goblin or the Fire Spirit from the Furnace as well. And it doesn't have a death spawn, so once the Barbarian Hut is gone, it's gone, and no more Barbs are going to come out and help. I think with just those two combinations and its high elixir cost, it's just a little bit too weak right now, and it is probably pretty low on this list.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on Barb Hut, and that's another one of those cards that I wouldn't want to see buffed. Even the death spawn, even to make it like even, I still wouldn't want to see it.
It's definitely going to be the most annoying spawner. More annoying than Furnace and Goblin Hut if it's strong again, like it was back in, I think, November of last year when Graveyard Barb Hut was everywhere.
Do spawners annoy you, pretty much all of them, for the most part?
Oh, they annoy me until I run a deck with Poison and Earthquake, which I have in phase spawners, in which case I just laugh. But yes,
yeah, you're very yeah, that's totally true. All right, they annoy me too, and I agree. It is funny how cards and decks like really like get under your skin. And then when you use them, like if you're the one using them just to mess around or whatever, you're like, it's not that bad. Like you kind of like, there's a psychological thing there, right?
With Elixir Golem Rage, it's chill. That card's not.
Yeah. I've been playing the same deck. I shared it on the channel, and I'm like, it's fun. It's fun. It's all good and fun. But you lose to that deck, you're like, screw this game, you know? Anyway, number 6.
So number 6 might be a little bit controversial. He probably could be closer to 10 on this list, but I have him as the Giant, and the Giant is just like, he's the most basic win condition in my opinion. He's just a slow-moving tank that will hit the tower eventually or hit buildings. And with all of the buildings, like almost every deck is going to have some sort of building or strong tank killer, and there's been a lot of tank killers added. Giant just doesn't have any way to fight back. Hog Rider's fast. He can escape, but Giant's just going to get stuck, and he's just going to continue to get hit by these units and buildings and pulled everywhere. Only Giant Double Prince players at the top of ladder playing this card. And those are just players that have been playing the deck for 3-4
It's
years. Like
insane.
even the other cards, Giant was just the first card there. That's why you don't see players high with them. But Giant is just extremely bad, and he's really difficult to use.
Yeah, dude, I had somebody on. They were #1 like earlier this week with Giant Double Prince. And
I think Kamikaze?
Yeah, I think it was Kamikaze. I was going to say that, but I'm like, was it him? Either way, it's been too many videos, too many guests, too many years of playing Clash Royale. But it must have been Kamikaze. But yeah, man, like I try every deck that I upload, even if they're decks that I've already shared. And that deck, dude, I tilted with it, man. You know, but like he was #1 in the world with it, you know? So I'm like, how does he do it? How does he do it with Giant Double Prince? But I'm surprised that you had him this high on the list of worst cards. But with that said, I totally experienced the frustration of playing Giant as well.
Yeah, Kamikaze is just different. I really dislike his play style because it's annoying for me as a P.E.K.K.A player. But I mean, he does play well and he gets consistent results, so you got to respect him.
Absolutely. What do you have next? #5, I think.
So #5, I have the Witch, and even though she's been buffed, nerfed, she's just been. I saw this graphic on Twitter, and she's the most changed card in the game. Like she's been balanced the most times, and even with all of that adjusting, she still is either really, really strong, like in the Elixir Golem meta, or she's just not very good. And she had a place in a Giant Graveyard deck for a little bit last meta when the Goblin Drill was super good, but she's just really, really difficult to fit in decks because she's hit or miss completely. You're either going to get a ton of value, their opponent's not going to have anything, and you're just going to like win the game, or you're going to lose because they have spells and can take care of her. She's not like the Magic Archer where you can actually outplay because of the lower elixir cost. She's just going to do her thing or she's not, and that's all you're going to get out of her. And that risk is just too little reward to have such a high risk on her.
All right, that's fair, but this is the first one that I disagree with on the list, Jackson, and really because I shared this video with this deck. You can't see it, but my viewers can. 2 days ago, and dude, I've been playing this deck, and it's actually pretty good. And the Witch is not like a ha-ha afterthought, just add her in to make it off meta. Like, she actually does pretty well in it. It's a Mega Knight Minor Witch Wallbreakers deck with Bandit in there, too, so kind of bridge spammy, mixed with a little bit of... Fun. Yeah, it's like really, I'm not saying she's like one of the strongest cards in the game, but I was impressed just messing around with her at how powerful she was, because going into that video, before I shared that deck, I would have agreed. But I want to hear from my viewers on the Witch, and I will post a community tab poll the same time this video goes live. You guys can let us know, is Witch good or is Witch bad right now?
So at #4, I have the Clone. Ever since the Night Witch got nerfed, the Clone's one deck, or two decks actually, Lava Clone, which doesn't have the Night Witch, but is still not good in the meta at all because of like E-Giant and Mother Witch and all that. And then also Golem Clone now the Night Witch is gone. That card just has no decks, very little usage. Poison is back, which is going to limit it even more. That card just got super killed in the previous balance changes. And yeah, it's not as bad as some of the cards coming after. You can still sometimes get some usage out of it, but there's just like very little for it, and it's one of the cards where hit or miss again, like the Witch, but this time it's even more. There's just nothing you can outplay if they have like arrows or something, unless you bait out their arrows earlier.
Agree.
So #3, you guys are probably going to be getting close to these guesses or these cards, but I have the Battle Healer. Battle Healer, just I don't even know why she's that bad. She got nerfed a little while ago, and ever since then she's just been completely gone. And I think it's difficult to tell why she was really killed, because she has such an interesting mechanic and her healing range is so big and she can like make or break pushes. But I think part of it has to do with how awkward it is to get her onto cards that she can actually heal your units up with. So like if you just go for a Fireball Log and don't play anything, your push is dead and the healer gets no value. If you play like ranged units, she has to get away from your push and walk a long way to get to the units. I don't know. She's just not good at all, though. The stats and everything, usage rates, all back it up. She's just not very good right now.
Yeah, she's only really used in that one Elixir Golem like kind of rage deck, and and she's always been only really used in that kind of deck. I agree with you putting her top 3. I'm just kind of looking at the stats, her compared to Knight. Now, she costs 1 more Elixir, obviously, than the Knight, right? She has the same amount of HP as the Knight. She deals half the damage as Knight. So the question then becomes, is that heal per shot worth 1 extra elixir and half the damage of a knight? And I guess the answer is no. See, like, I mean, maybe giving her a tiny bit of DPS, or maybe even quickening her swing a little bit and not change it, or maybe even giving her a nerf a little bit on her damage per swing, but, making her swing a little bit faster so that she heals a little bit quicker might be all right. But I don't know. Is it another one of those cards that have been like half the cards in the list here that is just not good when she's good? For the meta.
Well, I think she's not good when she's good, but she definitely leads to interesting gameplay. It's gameplay that challenges players because she's the only thing that can change like certain interactions by HP. Because if you fireball log a cannon cart, well, it's going to die. But if the healer gets 2 swings, then that cannon cart's still alive after the fireball log. So I think she really shouldn't be buffed, but like it is an interesting concept. And if I had to see her buffed, I'd probably give her faster movement speed so she can go across the arena and start healing up a little bit quicker. So she's not just getting stuck by ranged units, absolutely just pelting her and then killing her and then push behind.
That's a good one. That's a good one as well, because I am playing, like I said, the Elixir Golem Battle Hero Rage deck lately, and she does get stuck kind of behind the push a lot, unless you put her like right on top of it. Even then, she's easily kind of distracted.
So number 2, I have the mirror. The mirror, in my opinion,
thought it was going to be number 1, Jax.
What?
I thought it was going to be number 1.
Nope, I'm putting it at number 2, but it is like such a fun card. That card has been growing on me more and more. It's like one of my favorite cards in the game now. That surprise factor, level 14 or 1 level higher kind of interactions, and then just like everything about the card is fun, but it's just not very good because it's forcing you to play 1 elixir cost up, which in some situations just make or break. Like, it changes how a card is played. Like, sometimes spear goblins, you want to mirror spear goblins, but 3 elixir spear goblins rarely ever going to get value. That's why they're 2 elixir and they get all the value at 2 elixir. And the card is just, it's really fun, but it just doesn't get enough usage. And there's not many usage cases for it. So
yeah. I agree with you 100% on mirror being number 2 or number 1. I'd probably put it at number 1. But with that said, I am kind of to your point in terms of like the possibilities with mirror. I'm surprised that no pro out there, like ever, maybe there has been one and then I'm just forgetting about it, but has found a use case for it. Because you think in the hands of an incredibly like dynamic pro player, they should be able to bait out something as that surprise factor, especially if you're only using it one time. You're putting it out or pulling it out in very like nuanced or special situations. I feel like that could be a huge difference maker in like a competitive match, but apparently not. I'm sure it's been used before, but certainly doesn't kind of come to mind. A player who's mastered the mirror.
There are a lot of players that will use mirror in like their first early season push. Some of them have even pushed to like top 10, but in competitive with so like nuanced use cases, like you said, it's just really not worth it to give that risk.
Is there an easy fix for mirror or no?
I don't think so. I really don't like that because I think this card, actually, I would be happy to see a buff to this card. This card is just really, really fun. And just like that surprise factor, like, oh crap, I have nothing for that mirrored lumberjack that is now raged from the first lumberjack and is going to take my tower in 3 seconds flat. Like, it's really just so much fun to use, and I hope they can find a way to buff it, but I don't really see an easy fix for it.
Yeah, who knows if they ever come out with new levels, because I know the next update's going to be a high end game update. If they have new levels, maybe level 15 will be so powerful that it will make sense, Oh man. Okay, what is your worst card in the game, Jax?
So this will be controversial to a lot of players, but I have the Elixir Golem, and right now the Elixir Golem is just not a good card. It has been a win condition other than like its release when it literally had a Golem's HP overall. The card just doesn't, it just hasn't worked for more than Toxic Cheese or decks where players are trying to have fun, really. Like, it relied on the Battle Healer once she came out, and it was good for a while because the Battle Healer was so good with it, but then Battle Healer got nerfed, and it's been nerfed multiple times, and it's just not a good card anymore. A card that I would definitely like to see staying low, even though it is fun as heck to play Elixir Golem, Rage, Night Witch, which are all three or Elixir Golem Healer and Night Witch are all on the list, but as fun as it is to play, it's super toxic and just not healthy for the game, the way you can win games in one push with that. So
I completely agree in terms of not being healthy and not wanting a buff to the card. But I also think that I suspect that maybe you're a little biased because of your pro player caliber, Jax, because went like mid ladder or what, like where the heck am I right now? This is of course a couple days recorded a day in advance, but I'm like 23 or 6,300, 23 probably more like it, but I'm 6,300 trophies. And dude, I can still get the easiest wins with Elixir Golem, Battle Healer, Rage. And I suspect it's just because people are too aggressive in this trophy range, you know, myself included, right? And you can probably just punish better than other decks with Elixir Golem, Rage, right?
Well, the reason why the deck works at all, like Elixir Golem in a vacuum on its own is horrible. But if you combine it with the healer, and you combine it with the Night Witch, and you combine it with the Electro Dragon, and you combine its cheap cost, allowing you to play all of those at once in single Elixir, and you slap a Rage on there right at the end, that deck just plays itself. Like the push will literally play the game for you. It's like an AI in there.
Yeah, so you're saying I'm good with it because I suck as a player, basically.
Well, I had to play Elixir Golem for a month once because my phone just wouldn't let me handle playing P.E.K.K.A when it got broke. So I've actually played the deck quite a bit. I think it's like my third most used archetype outside of like bridge spam and maybe, I don't know. It might be my second
with Jax.
Like, yeah, I'm a toxic player. What can I say?
I love it, man. Hey, well, thank you so much for coming on the channel. As always, Jax, I'll have your YouTube, your Twitch, your Twitter, your stats, everything I can find on Jax, guys, will be listed in the show notes below. Any shout outs, any final words before we let you go, Jax?
Shout out to my friend SK555. He's been on the Broken podcast and his clan Esla Spammers.
Great guy. Sounds good. Jax, well, thanks again for coming on. I want to hear from you guys, my viewers. What cards, you know, were unfairly ranked high? What cards were not on the list that should have been? I want to hear from you guys in the show notes below. Thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to Bren Chong, to GFUEL, and to Clash Royale, my channel partners here on Clash with Ash. Thank you, and as always, take care, guys.